Okay, the three types of cold callers and how to train them. So there's three ways to do it. A lot of our callers, and this is kind of the default, a lot of our callers are cautious or fear-based callers. This is very normal, probably a 3-to-1 ratio of most callers are more fear-based. They're more afraid of making a mistake than they are of being aggressive and really pushing for the call. So what cautious callers end up doing is low status behaviors to get the lead or to book the call that's not as effective. So the way you train them, and you can explicitly tell them that you're doing this, is you put them under tremendous amounts of stress and pressure in training. So we had a caller who was really struggling with being assertive on calls and really asking for the meeting and pushing. So we did a training with him in front of 20 other callers, and we just butchered him for 15, 20 minutes. And I told him explicitly, the reason we're doing this, like the whiplash treatment, like the movie, is because I want you to be more afraid of doing a bad job and not pushing for the meeting, knowing that every call is recorded, knowing that you're in front of everyone, than you are afraid of the prospect. If someone's fear-based and someone's cautious, it's not a bad thing. A lot of really good callers and performers are fear-based, especially a lot of our female callers. They're not like aggressive alpha male types. They can sell just fine. But you need to teach them to be more afraid of bad tonality, bad behavior, bad habits, not following the script, than they are afraid of what they're going to face in the real world. People don't really get that rude or that bad. So all you have to do is you create a training environment that is extremely stressful. And you explicitly tell them you're doing it, and then you put them under the microscope in that environment for long enough. It's like the danger room in the X-Men. You give them a challenge that like, we're gonna have Magneto, there's nobody who can win. But you put so much pressure on them, and then the real world feels like a breeze. So that's the first type of caller. The other caller, which you think is better, but is not always better, is a very aggressive, goal-oriented caller, somebody who gets things done, who's really tough, like a high ticket closer type personality. The problem with those callers is they don't ask for help, and a lot of times they have really bad habits. So what you have to do with those callers is you really have to monitor them, take initiative with them, and proactively train them. So you go through, what were the 5 biggest objections you got over the last 3 days? They write them down, you go through them one by one. And a lot of times that's where the big wins are, because they have so much self-belief and so much self-confidence and so much arrogance, really, that they don't know how to ask for help. And they think that if they ask for help, they're going to be seen as weak. Or like, so what you have to do is proactively audit them and help them and give them the tools without taking away their mojo. Be like, listen, you're doing such a great job. A lot of times those are your best callers, doing a great job, but we want to make sure you have all the tools that you need. So let's go through all these objections you're getting, and then you make them feel very comfortable. And then the last are the balanced callers. These are callers that are very assertive. They know when to push and they know when to pull back. Those are usually the top 5% of your callers that know when to push, and then they give the prospect a door, and then they push again. Those are your best salespeople too, that give people opportunities to buy without putting them into an emotional ultimatum that's either too soft, where people don't like to buy from wusses, but people also don't like to buy from assholes. And for those people, you want to empower them. You want to give them more context. I actually pair them with less good callers to mentor them, especially in the same offer. And then eventually we try to promote them or push them to work full time or compensate them better, because those are your rock stars. So you're going to have 3 types primarily. And for me, the biggest lesson of the last few months was I was a little bit too complacent with aggressive callers, and I wasn't really hard enough on the cautious callers, but the cautious callers really need the tough love, and the aggressive callers really need the support. And the balanced callers really need to be empowered. They need to know that they're good. Because when you're good at sales, it doesn't feel like you're good. It just feels like you're having a conversation. But you need to really give them tools and empower them and eventually promote them. So hope this was helpful. Have a great day. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.